It can't be that freaking hard, right? Getting healthy, being healthy, staying healthy. I believe that having optimal health is the pathway to living a truly fulfilled life. I'm your host, Ashleigh Mythen, a qualified naturopath who's passionate about finding solutions to your health problems, because your health is my business and healthy starts here. Welcome to the show. Hello and welcome to today's episode. Today I want to talk about motivation. I say it like that because often we think of motivation as this kind of mythical creature that we can't quite reach. And more often than not, I have patients and friends and family and people on social media reaching out to me asking how to keep motivation. Like, how do you keep excited about being healthy? Or even, motivation can come in handy for many different things, such as creative adventures and business ideas and things like that. So in the beginning, we can be all really excited, and that excitement is kind of our motivation. It kind of creates this wave of energy that allows us to maintain that progress. But there are times when we're not excited, and the same goes for health. There are times when we don't want to get up in the morning, or we can't be bothered making healthy food or something like that. So I think the most important thing to understand is that we can't possibly always feel like super excited to do everything. And that's just the way it is. It comes in cycles. Sometimes we feel good, sometimes we feel bad, emotions come and go. And that's the same with motivation itself. But the most important thing to understand about motivation, if you keep waiting for motivation, that magical fairy godmother of motivation to come and twirl her wand around and tap you on the head, and all of a sudden you'll have all this amazing motivation and energy. Unfortunately, I wish it doesn't work that way. It actually, the dynamic of how it works is that you need to put into action, which then gives you the motivation to continue on. Most of the time, the most important thing with anything is just being consistent, showing up when you don't want to show up. So this morning, I even shared on my Instagram story, I didn't really feel like exercising this morning. I just wasn't into it. I hadn't had the best night's sleep, but I just, I got up and I did a bit of yoga and just did it to the best of my ability. Now, it probably wasn't as full of energy as normal, but I still showed up. And in fact, most of my success so far has really just been showing up even when I don't want to. And that itself creates motivation to keep going, because then when you start seeing results, you go, wow, I'm so glad I did that. Or even when you didn't really want to get up and do the exercise class or that boot camp or that yoga class or whatever it is that tickles your fancy with exercise, and you do it, and then afterwards you go, I'm really glad I did that. And that's the same with creative ventures, same with business ideas. You've just got to keep on going. One of my favorite examples of motivation in action inspired is Thomas Edison. So Thomas Edison, it's said that he had something like 1,000 unsuccessful, or it took him 1,000 attempts, to get to the successful creation of the light bulb. Now, can you imagine if just for one moment, if he had quit at 999 attempts, if he had said, nah, I'm done. Imagine that. I'm sure someone else might have maybe created it, but he wouldn't have created it maybe in that same way. So it's really exciting to hear when you look at people who've succeeded and done well. And I'm sure he had those days as well, but he kept on persevering. So I think that's the best thing that you can do is just to keep going, even when you don't want to. And things that can help you to keep going is joining a group or reaching out to friends. I think helping you get someone that you can relies on you that can really make a difference. Even when I'm seeing someone for the first time, I always get them to book in their next consult, simply for the fact that when they book in their next consult, it means they're more likely to stick to the program because they've got someone going to ask them, how have you been going? Have you been putting into place some of the changes? Have you been taking the supplements, the nutrients, have you made the lifestyle changes? You've got someone asking you that. So I think reaching out and making yourself, I can't think of the word right now, but putting yourself out there so that other people can encourage you to keep going, basically. Other things that you can do to really help that motivation is to ask yourself why. Why am I doing this in the first place? Because if you don't know your why, then it's not going to help when you have those bad days, those challenges, those bump in the roads. You really need to get to know, why am I doing this in the first place? And I think if you really dive in deep and give yourself a really deep and honest, raw reason, you need a reason that goes deeper. So what I mean by that is not just, I want to look skinny, or I want to have clear skin and stuff like that. Still, I understand, but you've got to be deeper than that. It's got to have a bit more meaning. So it's got to be like, how do you want to feel? I want to feel confident in myself. I want to feel strong in my body. I want to have the energy to be able to play with my kids, really making an emotional connection to your why. And then what I would do is put that in your phone, write that down. So then when you can even put it as a background, as your phone, as a reminder. So when you have those down days, like, oh my gosh, I do not want to get up this morning, or I cannot be bothered prepping my food today, for lunch. I'd rather just buy it. Whatever it is, you can just return to that why. Why am I doing this in the first place? And then that might just go, okay, you know what? I'm going to make that meal tonight, or I'm just going to get out of bed and do the best I can with the energy that I have. So knowing your why. And my favorite thing has been to learn to enjoy the process. Often we are so focused on that end result. We want to really get to that end point where we have this image and idea of what it will look like to feel a certain way. And yes, it's good to always reflect and grow and look at things, how you can better yourself. And it's always, that's always a positive thing. But what's really important is to find gratitude for what you do have and to enjoy the process of learning to get fit. It's sometimes going to be hard. So if you can learn to enjoy that process by doing classes that you enjoy, not really slugging it out, not forcing yourself into classes because you've heard it's really good, but you really hate it, experiment, find something that you really enjoy. And it's the same with food. Just because kale's really good for you doesn't mean you should be drinking kale smoothies. Like, if you really hate it that much, it's actually doing worse for you than if you just have something that you enjoy that's healthy. And we tend to overthink these things. We tend to think, we look at someone who's been doing something for a long time and they've cultivated and they've learned and they're doing all these outrageous things, but they've taken a long time to get there. Like everything I do now, it probably sounds like a lot to someone who's just beginning this journey, but I've been on my own health journey for a long, long time. So I've had to implement these little things each and not do it all at once, just implementing one little thing at one by one and knowing my why. So for me, my why was, I want to feel good so I can do good in the world. And so that's been my motivating factor. So every time I don't want to, get up in the morning or anything like that, I reconnect with that, knowing that is going to be the thing that keeps me going, and being consistent and then enjoying the process, choosing things that I want to do, putting music on when I want to cook or when I've got lots of work to do, making a space where I really enjoy being. Learning to enjoy where you're at will help you keep momentum to where you want to go. Of course, like I said, I understand the value of, someone keeping you accountable. So on top of naturopathy, if you're needing help with, specific health goals, I'm there. And I'm a great motivator. I love seeing people achieve their goals and figuring out how to get them to A to B. So I'm also offering motivational sessions as well. So if you're needing to break through some of those barriers or just really have someone keep you accountable and ask all the deep questions why you're not getting to A to B, I will get there. I will ask those hard questions and I will be there. So feel free to go to my website, ashleighmythen.com, for any services. I've also got more podcasts and webinars and meditations, and I'm really trying to create content that helps you guys stay on track. Thank you for listening. It can't be that friggin' hard, right? Be kind to yourself and each other. Till next time.